Hello and welcome to Pompey Talk in partnership with Jan Lee. My name is Mark McMahon and join me in the studio today to discuss Pompey's trip to Leyton Orient is new sports writer Jeff Marshman. Jeff, it's a tough one on paper for Pompey, irrespective of where Leyton Orient are in the league table.
It is, yeah. You only have to look at this fixture last season and remember that Pompey, when they had such a good away record last season, this was actually one of the games that they did lose, wasn't it?
Well, is it a help or a hindrance then, Jeff, that Leyton Orient have got a new manager, the Italian Andrea Andrea Bolicelli. Hello and welcome to Pompey Talk in partnership with Jan Lee. My name is Mark McMahon and join me in the studio today to discuss Pompey's trip to Leyton Orient is new sports writer Jeff Marshman. Jeff, it's a tough one for Pompey on paper, irrespective. Right, that's it. There we go. No point anymore.
Well then, Jeff, it seems that you're here by yourself to answer the Pompey Talk questions. You okay with doing that today? Well, I mean, we're going to have to, aren't we, really? Excellent stuff. Okay, I'll just pick them up here. Mark's left them. We've got number one for you. On paper, this is a tough one for Pompey, irrespective of where Leyton Orient are in the table. Well, I mean, Leyton Orient, it's going to be a tough game regardless of who you want to call them. I mean, there's no easy games, are there, in League Two? It's a cliche, but Pompey, they're going to have to go there and look to put right the form that they've got this season, which on the road, let's be honest, Jeff, hasn't been very good very good at all. I mean, what I would say is Leyton Orient last season, when Pompey did very well on the road, actually beat Pompey, so who's to say that Pompey can't go and avenge that defeat and then kick on with their away form for this season? That was fascinating, Jeff. Thanks so much for your response there. Is it a help or a hindrance that Leyton Orient have brought in an Italian who goes by the name of Alberto Cavasan? Well, it's certainly an interesting one, isn't it? Because you'd imagine that having a new Italian manager, I don't believe can speak the native language over here, could provide some quite big problems in the dressing room in terms of getting his message across. But in terms of what he's done before in the game, I think he's managed Sampdoria, so, you know, it's a good acquisition at this level, you'd think. So hopefully that could maybe buoy Leyton Orient for the rest of the season, but they'll have a bit of the old first week nerves under the new manager and things will go wrong for him on the pitch and then he'll pick up the scraps for them going forward. So fingers crossed Pompey can be the beneficiaries of that managerial change this week. Well, you said it. I mean, Pompey's record on the road this season isn't great, is it? What do you make of that? Yeah, it's difficult to put your finger on that, isn't it? As I said before, Pompey was so good away from home last season that you kind of just think that will then continue on, and why should it change? You know, they're doing all the same things as they were last season, travelling up to games the day before and everything. It just seems that they haven't quite clicked as a team on their away travels. I don't know whether it's teams have sort of wised up to how Pompey like to set up in terms of how well they did last season. Teams have had a look at that and gone, well, this is how they play on the road. We can be a little bit more, you know, well, teams always want to be attacking in front of the home fans, don't they? But maybe some teams have gone, right, this is Pompey, any point against Pompey is a good point, be a bit more defensive and then we can hit them on the counter-attack. So that certainly happened at times this season. Fingers crossed though that the Pompey can go there and just put in a good performance. That's all they need to do. We know they've got the players to do it, Jeff, don't we? So fingers crossed that they can just go and unlock the Leyton Orient defence. Leyton Orient have been poor at home this season. It's worth mentioning that they've lost 4 of their 5 games, so this is a real good chance for them to go and get a good result there. Interesting. Okay, well, Paul Cook's talked a lot about consistency on the road, and Pompey probably haven't found that so far. Again, a difficult question. You are asking me some difficult questions today. I mean, how do you change it? Well, lack of consistency, what breeds consistency is the same team, doesn't it? Picking the same team each week will hopefully give you that. What he has to do, if he decides it's his best team, is stick with it. I know Pompey have gone through a bad run of results recently, a couple of back-to-back defeats, which has sort of changed the mood around the place, dropped them down to 6th place in the table, which is no tragedy, is it? Let's be honest about it. As long as they're still competing in and around the promotion places, you'd think that's okay for now. I think what he needs to do is just decide what his best team is and go with it and back it. And for me, his best team sort of centres around Connor Chaplin and Gary Roberts linking up week in, week out. And if those two can keep firing, then I see no reason why they can't go and get another run of wins. Well, he's also said he needs to get tough with his players from the touchline, maybe a bit more animated out there. What do you think of that? Yeah, absolutely. I think that'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? Fans love it, don't they? The manager on the touchline, giving it a little bit of the old macho man, you know, shouting at his players. It's what fans come to football to be entertained, don't they? And Paul Cook's a great believer in that. I think he's called his attacking players entertainers before. So if he can jolly them up by himself, providing a bit of entertainment on the touchline, I'm all for that. I think that sometimes players do need a little bit of a rocket to get themselves going, and For Pompey at the moment, they haven't quite been ticking as we know they can, so I don't see any harm whatsoever in Cookie getting South down to the touchline and really buoying them up, yeah. Excellent, I do agree with you on that. Your prediction, by the way, for the game? Well, I mean, there's only a few things that are certain in the game of football, isn't there? There's going to be 11 players on each team lining up at the start. The referee's going to blow his whistle. There'll be 90 minutes of football. You'd think maybe a few more added on at the end of each half for injuries and substitutions and whatnot, maybe even goal celebrations. But I don't know, it's hard to say, isn't it? What do you want me to do? Predict the future? I'm not some sort of person who can look inside their mystic ball like Mystic Meg or whatever and let you know what's going to happen. If I did, I'd probably be putting the money on myself and having a bet and being quids in. So why I feel qualified to give a result or a prediction, I've got absolutely no idea whatsoever. Why ask me? Why not just ask anyone on the street? I mean, yes, I take an interest in Pompey and my job's to follow them around, so to speak, but I don't know what they're going to do. Would you have predicted they'd have lost 2-1 at home to Doncaster last week and lost to Blackpool away? No, you wouldn't, because you said it would be a draw against Doncaster last week and you went for a win at Blackpool. So there's no use asking me. I don't know. 0-0. What about you? My prediction, well, I disagree entirely. I'm actually going to go for a 2-1 win to Pompey. I think Chaplin will score both. Thank you. OK, thanks very much. That's it from us for another episode of Pompey Talk in partnership with Giant Leap. Do be sure to check it back in with us again next week. Thank you.